y'all. Welcome back to Living Black Podcast with your hosts,
Nayla and
Ari. And today, we're glad to have y'all back for another episode. Today's episode, we'll be talking about womanism. But before we dive in, let's reveal today's fact or cat for the day. Today's fact or cat is womanism is the same thing as feminism. So, this is actually cat. Nayla, what did you think it was before I read it out?
I think it was cap too because I've had to research womanism and the two different meanings of feminism and womanism in school before, so I kind of know a little bit about how they're different.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, and they're not the same thing because feminism is the fight for women's rights, but mainly it was from the perspective of white women. Womanism is the fight for all women's equal rights from the perspective of Black women and people of color women. What they're willing to help fight for other women from different ethnicities. So we didn't share this on our Instagram story, unfortunately, but we're willing to look forward to hearing what you guys have to say either way. So let's dive into today's topic. The first question we have up on the board is, what is womanism and how does it stand out from feminism? Nayla, do you want to start off or?
Yes, I can go ahead and start off. Womanism is basically it's like a form of feminism, like it branches out from feminism, and it emphasizes women's natural contributions to society, but it focuses more on certain groups of women, I guess you could say. And it stands out from feminism because, as I said before, womanism is kind of it focuses on one group of women, kind of focusing with race, class, and gender. And feminism is female oriented for all and basically just focuses on issues that women as a whole face.
Yes, that is all accurate. So just like Nayla said, womanism it's a more broader version of feminism, and it's pointed towards women of color. And one who calls himself a womanist means that they love and will fight for other women aside from women from their race. And just like I said for the factor cat for today, feminism it's mainly when we look back at the women's rights movement, we notice that feminism was mainly pointed towards white women and, people that considered themselves feminists, they were only fighting for white women, basically. There weren't many rights pointed towards women of color. So that's what makes the two stand out from each other, and that's why there's two different terms. So the next question we have for today is, do either of us define as a womanist or feminist? Why or why not?
For me, I've never really considered myself one. I do fight and what is the word? I fight and I talk about topics that women and issues that women face. I basically advocate for women and women of color. So I guess in a sense I am, but I guess I could do more within the woman community to actually define myself as a womanist or feminist, but that's just me. What about you?
Well, for me, I think that I don't consider myself either because I don't really fight for women's rights. I haven't gotten the opportunity to. So mainly I'm just an activist for Black Lives Matter and social justice rights. So that's one thing that I know for sure, but I don't think I define as either one of those terms. But we're going to dive deeper into what womanism actually is and where it roots from. So womanism takes a big role in Alice Walker, her life, and also how she made books and films, everything about womanism. And she gathered the definition for womanism. It's on her own, actually. And it's really mind blowing that she did that. And, it's very nice to know that she fought for women's rights. So one poem that I know for sure that she talks about racism, women's equality, individualism is Be Nobody's Darling. And that poem or book talks about how she encourages women to embrace their uniqueness and, just be them in total. So that's one thing I know for sure I like about Alice Walker. And, how she connects to the womanism or just being a womanist herself is very great to know. And she's also a woman of color, so that's amazing as well.
Yes, that is very it's very interesting. Her story is very interesting, and it's cool how she writes and advocates and is an activist for women and specifically people of color as well.
Yeah, that's great. So as we're ending off today's episode so shortly, I wanted to leave y'all with the topic of protect Black women. So this has been on the charts for forever in mainstream social media. And we know about the incident with Megan Thee Stallion, where she had an incident with Tory Lane. And another incident we know about, what's another incident you know about that connects to protecting Black women?
I guess I could say in the Olympics when it's not just Black women, but there were Black women involved in the Olympics where some of the gymnasts got sexually assaulted. That's another scenario, I guess.
Yes, that's a great scenario as well. And we also know when we connect it back to just like being a Black woman in America, we know that our moms or mothers and ancestors and grandmothers as well, they come from times of slavery, segregation, all of that. And Black women are one of the most underrepresented people in America, as I know for sure. And, it's hard to live in America as a Black woman or a Black man, but still a Black woman because, as Black women, we're more likely to get, well, this is actually a fun fact. It's not funny or anything, but Black women are most likely or more likely to die or have complications from childbirth.
Yep.
Because the funny thing about it is that some nurses and doctors, they don't believe Black women, when they're in pain and, they think something is wrong with what's going on with their baby or pregnancy. And, when you get ignored like that, it really upsets the whole pregnancy and the woman herself. And that can lead to future complications, and it's just not any good. So with that being said on how Black women are at such a higher rate for a lot of things in America, I just want to let y'all know, and I think we both want to let y'all know that it is important for us to protect each other as Black women and Black men and boys. It's important for y'all to protect your Black queens.
Yes.
Because, it's hard being a Black woman out here. And, we all know what it's like to be Black in America. And, it's a lot attached to that. So it's not much I have to say currently because I don't want to drag y'all on for forever.
Yeah. And also, I just want to add something real quick. I just want to say, I just want to encourage all Black women and men to stick together and stand up for each other. Because as Ari said, it's important that we do things together because we are all we have, basically. And stand up for your rights, even when you are said to be wrong.
Yes. And arrest the cops who killed Breonna Taylor. That's who as well. So that's how we're going to end off today's episode for you all. We hope you all enjoyed this episode. And make sure you follow all of our socials, which will be linked in the description of this episode. And if you're able to, spread the word about our GoFundMe, which is also linked in our link tree. We appreciate all the support lately and hope everything is well with everyone. But for now, bye, y'all.
Bye.